During the 1980s, when pits were closing down and lots of factories were closing, people were losing their jobs, people were fighting not only for employment but for their own communities, and people struggled. During that time, I was a head teacher in a small village school, and children were coming to school hungry. I personally took this very hard, not only for my school children, but for my community at home in Castleford. And everything that was going on in the parish made me very depressed, and I had a breakdown. As I recovered, I was surrounded by people who wanted to love me and care for me. And it's that working together of everyone's efforts, which I think is the love of God. It's not a sentimental, soft thing, this love. It's a tough, hard-working thing, and it's in all of us that want to do good.
As part of her recovery, Alison devoted her energies to rebuilding the community she cared so much about. She became involved in the Castleford Heritage Trust, a project to redevelop the area. They've built a new bridge across the river, added fishing platforms, but Alison's pride and joy is the flour mill, which the Trust has bought for the town.
2 years ago when they closed the mill, it was a real blow. It was another part of our industrial heritage gone, and we weren't prepared for that. And our intention is to use this lovely building to continue milling and to tell the story of our industrial and social heritage in order to help young people especially to be proud of this community and who they are, to be proud of their roots and their story. Because some children, they were ashamed to say they came from this community. We are God's hands in the world, and it's that love that motivates us, and certainly motivates me to want to make this a better place for the people of our town today, for visitors that come here, and for our children in the future.
Proud of their history and heritage at the heart of the former mining village of South Empsall, the Carlton Main Frickley Colliery Band has championed local culture and community for well over a century. This was them in 1912. Today, they're one of the top 10 bands in the world. But more important to them, they're this year's Yorkshire champions. So here's the quintet from the Carlton Main Frickley Colliery Band playing a tune called Gresford. It was inspired by a Welsh colliery disaster, but it's been adopted everywhere simply as the Miners' Hymn. The Wakefield Way passes through New Miller Dam Country Park, where Roger Parkinson works as a volunteer tree warden.
These are trees from all over the world, and although the neighbouring woodlands are British native trees, this is a really varied collection that people can come and enjoy. The volunteers are all ages really, and quite varied abilities. We like to get people out doing things and just enjoying working with trees and being in the countryside. People got to know what we were doing and how we were doing it and engaging different people from different groups and disabilities. And I got a phone call from a social worker a couple of years ago to say that she had a young man who was in her care and she wanted to get him involved in something outside. Yeah, that's great. Robert really hadn't spoken for quite a long time, and it was about getting his confidence back. Oh, yeah, that's good, yeah, flick through them, let's see what we've got. So Robert came along, and for the first visit, he was about 20 feet away with his head down, didn't really want to engage with us. By the second visit, got a little bit closer. By the third, he was tugging my shirt and pointing at things.
So how much of an area do you cover? Is it just this bit?
Well, you came down there, from down there, didn't you?
Yeah,
Steps.
that's right, all the way down the steps.
Yeah, it goes all down that way.
And so do you have to do this every day?
No, just once a week.
And when you come, do you notice the changes in the seasons?
Yeah.
Which is your favourite season here?
Oh, it's all good. It's all nice.
Yeah.
All the time.
I know I've had many conversations with people that walk onto this site and have given me various stories as to why they like to be in this particular location. Lots of the trees are in memory of someone, so it's a nice place if you have planted a memorial tree, it's to come and just reflect and enjoy that peace and tranquility and think and perhaps say a prayer. It's about getting people out in the woodlands and enjoying those environments so they can find those peaceful places and enjoy the tranquility of the woodlands. And I know the community, it's brought the local community together.
Artist Carrie Scott Hubie lives and works near the Wakefield Way. Her art and faith are influenced by the rhythms of life and landscape to be found along its varied route.
My creative process is I absorb what's around me, whether it's the landscape or little details of, say, flowers and the ebb and flow of life. or things that have been discarded on the floor, or things that nobody wants. I always look for the element of beauty that people don't necessarily see themselves. They walk past and go, "Oh, that doesn't look nice." You can just take it on face value, but there's a wealth of things underneath if you're willing to just take that time and pause. When I walk every morning out over the fields, I think that that's my meditation time, really. And this is one of my favourite spots, where I've come along the path and it opens up, and you can, as you walk through, you can see all the different horizons emerging. The horizon line is one of my favourite things to draw. Autumn, I do love autumn, and people start getting miserable and I start getting more excited. And I think it's that time where you can start reflecting and not as busy as summer, and try and reflect more about being patient in life. Things just change, nothing ever ends, it just changes. So through walking, looking at the dying flowers, seed heads kind of depicts that death, and people think, oh, the flowers have diminished, that's throw them away. That's when I say, oh, how exciting, and I'll start drawing and painting, because they take on a much more interesting form and more subtle colour. It is a beautiful place, the Wakefield district, and I definitely recommend the limitless amounts of walks and beauty you can see.
To look beyond the surface and see beauty in all of creation really is a special gift. And here's John Rutter's setting of one of our most beloved childhood hymns, which encourages us to do just that. And it's sung for us by the Wakefield Cathedral Girls' Choir.